let me start by saying that today I want to invite us all to reframe how we view the green transition. And I don't want us to see it as a race to net zero, but more as a collective negotiation about who gets to build that future. For far too long, the global narrative on climate action has focused on decarbonization, on innovation and technology. And yes, of course, these elements are crucial. But I also think that equally vital is something that I call social scaffolding of that transition. For instance, who is trained to install solar panels? Who gets access to the financing? Who is creating policies and not just implementing them? So Include has been actively pushing for this scaffolding. For example, at the UN Summit of the Future, where we brought attention to how gender and youth inclusion are not afterthoughts, but they are really preconditions for any sustainable system. And we challenged the idea that technical skills alone can really deliver energy access. We also showed how localized training, inclusive financing, and social ownership models are equally critical. And at COP29, we made clear that if low carbon policies are not accompanied by labor-based incentives, then Africa's youth will remain bystanders in a race that they didn't start, but that they have to finish. So we advocated for policies rooted in lived realities, not just lofty targets. And we call for investment in people, not just panels. And I think together we have to ask ourselves a couple of questions today. Why are we still designing climate policies for youth instead of with youth? Why is 70% of Africa's population under 30 years, but less than 3% of climate funding is directly accessible for youth-led initiatives? And why are clean energy strategies silent on jobs when unemployment is the real climate crisis in our communities? Now, if these questions make you uncomfortable, then good, they should, because discomfort is often the beginning of a transformation. And I want us to be very clear about this. This transition is not going to happen by default. We have to design it to be just. So at Include, we've seen how even small shifts can transform communities. For example, through localized training programs in Nigeria, youth-led solar cooperatives in Ghana, and inclusive data practices in South Africa. But these examples cannot remain isolated sparks. We really need to institutionalize them. So we're not just calling for change, we're convening coalitions, we're synthesizing evidence, and co-creating the blueprints with young people. And we can't do that alone. We need governments to reimagine policies. We need funders to reallocate risks. And most important of all, we need you, youth, to refuse to be tokenized. We want to move from margin to movement, from short-term projects to long-term sustainable systems. And that's exactly why we have this panel today. And I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to listen and learn from inspiring young panel members today. And to the audience, I'd like to say, please engage in the chat or otherwise reach out to us so we can include your thoughts and ideas as we move forward in making our future green and most importantly, just. So thank you all and enjoy the panel.